All right, let's dive into something that, well, it just doesn't seem to make any sense. There's this fascinating new study that found the more students learn about ChatGPT's flaws and its risks, the more that actually want to use it. So, what is going on here?
I mean, think about it for a second. Have you ever seen a warning label or heard about the downsides of some new gadget, and instead of backing away, it actually made you lean in, made you want to figure it out, maybe even master it? Just kind of keep that question in your back pocket as we go.
You know, it's hard to overstate what a bombshell ChatGPT was when it just dropped onto the scene in late 2022. It totally rocked the world of education. For teachers, for students, it was this wild mix of, wow, this is amazing, and, let's be honest, a little bit of, oh no, what do we do now?
And this tension really breaks down into two sides of the same coin. On the one hand, you've got all this promise, right? An AI that can give you personalized feedback instantly, help you with your writing, basically act as a tutor any time of day. But then there's the panic side. The fact that it can be flat out wrong, that it can have biases, and the very real fear that students could become too dependent on it and lose their critical thinking skills.
So, to get to the bottom of what actually makes students want to use a tool like this, a team of researchers led by Ghadada Al-Murshidi went out and surveyed 366 university students in the United Arab Emirates. Their goal was to test some of our most basic, common-sense ideas about how people adopt new tech.
So they started with three hypotheses that honestly sound like total no-brainers. Hypothesis 1. The more you know about the benefits, the more you're going to want to use it. Yeah, makes sense. Hypotheses 2 and 3. The more you know about its technical problems and the risks involved, the less you'll want to use it. Seems pretty logical, right? You'd think so.
But when they actually crunched the numbers from all those student surveys, they found something that just flipped all of that common sense logic completely on its head.
Okay, so first, the part that did make sense. They confirmed Hypothesis 1. The students who knew more about the good stuff, how it can save time, spark ideas, they were definitely more likely to use it. No surprises there. Check.
And this is where the predictable part just stops cold.
Here is the first big shocker. The study found the exact opposite of what they expected. The students who were most aware of ChatGPT's technical limitations, the fact that it can be inaccurate or just make stuff up, they were actually more willing to use it. Not less, more. And get this, it didn't stop there. They found the exact same bizarre pattern for the personal risks. The students who are most worried about things like becoming over-reliant on it or it getting in the way of their own learning, again, they were the ones who were most likely to want to use it. Both of those common sense ideas were just wrong.
The researchers themselves knew how wild this was. They wrote in the paper that these findings challenge traditional views that limitations act as barriers. So this begs the big question, right? Why? Why would knowing all the bad stuff about a tool actually make you want to use it more?
Well, what this all suggests is something pretty profound, actually. It might signal a big shift in how we relate to technology. Maybe we're evolving past just a simple fear of the unknown and into something a lot more sophisticated.
Let's call this the rise of the informed user. For this kind of person, knowing a tool's weaknesses isn't a red flag telling you to stay away. No, it's empowering. It gives you a sense of control. It's like knowing your car's blind spots. That knowledge doesn't make you afraid to drive, it makes you a smarter, better driver. Knowing the flaws is a sign of competence.
And this idea just blows some older theories right out of the water. For decades, the thinking was pretty simple. The more risk you see, the more you'll back off. But this suggests a whole new model. It's not about avoiding risk, it's about managing it. Smart engagement completely trumps fearful avoidance.
So what do we do with this? I mean, this has massive implications for the real world, especially in education. It basically says that the gut reaction a lot of schools had at first, to just ban AI or put up scary warnings, is probably the exact wrong thing to do.
Instead, this research points to a brand new playbook for teaching AI, and it's actually pretty straightforward. First, teach the incredible benefits, get people excited. But then, just as important, you have to teach the technical limitations and be totally upfront about the ethical risks. You got to give people the whole picture.
Because the big takeaway here is really powerful. The goal of AI education shouldn't be to create timid, cautious users who are afraid of these tools. The goal should be to create competent, critical, and informed users who know exactly what the tool can do and what it absolutely can't. That's how you prepare them for the future.
And that brings everything full circle, doesn't it? This study suggests that when it comes to these game-changing technologies, maybe the greatest danger isn't that we'll learn about the risks and get scared off. Maybe the real danger
is just plain ignorance.